right now. So this meeting is now being recorded. Thank you, Brianna and Zork, for coming. And so what I wanted to do was just go over a few of the requirements for this project, because I've been getting some questions. And I thought, well, why not just do a real-time session where students can come and ask me. And actually, I think what I'm going to end up doing, and I'll make this announcement week to week, is maybe just hold one of these every week for you guys, just to be able to come in and interact with me in real time. If we all feel that that's a good thing and there's a need for that. So, but for today, what I want to do is go over the service learning project. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my desktop real quick. So Brianna and Zork, please let me know if you are now seeing our course homepage. It may not, I have two classes. I have a section 1 and a section 2. So this may not be the exact course that you guys see. And if you guys don't mind, maybe if you would mute your mic real quick, and if you have something that you want to say, you can just type it in the chat box, and that way I can respond to you that way. Thank you for that. So hopefully you see the course homepage right here. And so I have posted a service learning project. There's half a dozen ways you can get to it. I've linked the module right here under this news announcement. If you click this big here button, it'll take you there. Also, I have a video about service learning, about civic responsibility that I hope you watch. It's like 6 or 7 minutes. So it just gives you an idea of why we're doing this project. So I hope that you watch that. But if I come up here to the top and I click on content, and Cougar View's been very slow today. Here is my table of contents right here. And these are so far the only 2 modules. Well, actually there's 3. There's the textbook right there. But these are the only 2 modules that we have so far. It's the Start Here orientation, which is the work that you guys did last week. And then the second module is this Connecting to History Through Service Learning module that I've created. So here is where you can find all the information that you need on what to do for your service learning project. Beginning with the very first page here, as you can see under this module right here, there are several pages. There's a web page, there's a video, there's a hot link right there, another link to the first assignment, which is the introduction sheet, and then a discussion topic and the service learning action form and the journal, okay? So this project is going to be, can be done throughout the semester. I've got a date range of when your service learning needs to be done. As well, there is a video I'm explaining here what the requirements of the project are. However, as I was watching this last night, I realized I did this last semester, so it has all last semester's dates on it. Actually, somebody emailed me and let me know that. So you get the gist of what's expected here, but just know that some of the dates are wrong. Your service learning project has to be completed right here by April 14th. Okay, that's when you've done your service learning, you've turned in all of your assignments related to this project, and I get it then, and we start to go through it and take a look at it, okay? So what we have here is I'm asking you to go and perform at least no less than 5 hours of community service at a charity of your choice, okay? You can, I give you several different options. So what I would like for you to do is just start to kind of think about things that you might want to do. Some people have already gone and they've got their, one of them has their service learning scheduled for next Friday. They already know what they want to do. Others might take a little time. And if you need a little time to think about this, you have time, because the service learning hours, those 5 hours, have to be done sometime between February 3rd, which is Sunday, I hope, yeah, Sunday, and April 14th. So we have just about all semester to try to get this done. So the idea behind this is you'll do your 5 hours of community service, and during that week, I'm kind of going to give you something in return, and what I'm giving you is a week off from that week's activities, okay? Now, I can't exempt you from the midterm, and I can't exempt you from the final. But week to week, what we're going to be doing in this class is having different class activities, different readings from our text, different things, discussions, and Dropbox items that we maybe turn in, or maybe even a quiz. If you choose you can exempt yourself from that week because you're doing your service learning project, okay? And I'll explain in just a moment how you do that. You just have to let me know ahead of time, or else if I don't know you're going to be exempted, then I'll put a 0 in the grade book, and we don't want that, okay? But your first order of business is to try to figure out or start thinking about what you might want to do for service learning. And I have this project intro sheet is what I'm calling it, that I would like for you to fill out. And it's me. Hello, Kayla. Hey, Kayla. Hey, we're just now getting started. You haven't missed hardly anything, and I'm recording this meeting, Kayla. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, maybe your mic is muted. I'm recording this, so certainly you can listen to the recording if you have missed anything. So by this week, this Sunday at 11:59 p.m., there are 3 things you need to have completed. The intro sheet, I'm going to tell you that in just a moment. You need to enroll yourself in a group. I'll explain that in just a moment. And then you're going to post to the group discussion board, okay? I'm going to explain all of that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and click on the complete the service learning project intro sheet. So when I click this right here, my view might be a little bit different than yours. It is because I'm looking at it as an instructor and not a student. So let me remedy that right now. Give me just 2 seconds and go in as a student. Quick review is so slow today. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. Hold on 1 second. All right. So just to get to the service learning module, all I do is I come up here and I click on content, and then I click on this connecting to service learning through history, connecting to history through service learning module, and then I'm going to click this very first page because it's going to give me all kinds of information about the service learning project. See, if this was a video I was doing, I could wait for it to load and then just fast forward through it, but this is in real time. So, all right, and I'm gonna click right here on this complete service learning project info sheet. And essentially, while it's loading, I'll tell you what this intro sheet is going to do. I've divided up the semester into 5 different groups, and these are different groups. Okay, once you click on this, it's gonna allow you to download the file or open it up. So I'm just going to click on it to open it. What I have done is I have created 5 different groups that address the 5 major themes, if you will, that we are studying in U.S. history this semester. And what I want you to do, when I click on this, it just downloads for me, so I can just click right here and open it up. Okay. So what I have done is these overarching themes. Very nice. Okay. These overarching themes that I've divided the semester up into, the different content topics that we are going to be discussing this semester. I'm hoping that by doing the service learning project, this is going to help you engage, help you relate to things that happened a very long time ago. Because the time period that we are studying in U.S. history is about 200 years ago. It starts off over 200 years ago. So how can you relate to that? Well, hopefully by doing this project, you'll find some kind of relation to it, okay? So this form right here, you see it's a Word document, so just download it and then just type in, whatever you want to type in. I want you to take a look at the different groups and find a group that most closely matches what maybe you are interested in, okay? And then once you do that, I want you to think about 5 potential organizations, events, strategies, something that you can create some kind of service learning or a volunteer project around. And then put these kind of in action between this time period right here. So here on the first one, I want you to name the group. In just a moment, I'm going to show you what the groups are. And then give me about 5 of those different organizations that you have researched, okay? So what are the groups? Okay, so if we scroll down on this document right here, and this is an old document because it's not Converging Cultures anymore, it's Culture Club. I'll have to change that. Apparently, I didn't change that here. But the first group is called Culture Club. And this is one of the first topics that we'll cover in U.S. history. It's bringing all these different cultures together. How did the United States begin? Well, it's European cultures, it's African cultures, it's Native American cultures, it's the buildup of Latin America, okay? So somebody who would be in this group would be interested in maybe working with different cultures or different people who are maybe just different from themselves. It could be even maybe you want to go to a different type of church, okay? Maybe you are Christian and you are interested in finding out what a Jewish church is like. And so maybe you go and you contact one of the synagogues here in Columbus and you say, hey, I got this service learning project I have to do. Can I do something for about 5 hours, help you out on one of your services or something like that? People in this group really just are interested in knowing other types of people, okay? The next group is civic responsibility. This is sort of the catch-all. If you don't really find yourself in any of the other groups, this probably is going to be a good fit for you. This is just volunteering at a charity or an organization because we want to be good citizens, okay? Unmute. Hey, everybody, can you see me, hear me? Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. I got knocked out. That's Zoom's problem. Hold on one second. I'm going to share my screen again. I hope this didn't mess up my recording too much. I actually should have maybe been recording this through Camtasia as well. But anyway. So civic responsibility is what I was talking about. Now, in addition to listing the different types of groups, another thing that I do is the whole purpose of this is to connect what we're learning in history to our service learning. So we have to kind of link this back to something that we're learning in the course. And I kind of do that here. I give the different topics that we're learning about. And so that's there for you, as well as why somebody would choose this group, and then some ideas. These are just suggestions. It doesn't mean that if you choose the civic responsibility group that you have to walk dogs at paws. Please don't go do something unless you really enjoy doing it. I certainly don't want you to go to any organization. If you don't like animals, don't do anything with them, okay? But these are just suggestions. These are ideas. This is not something that you absolutely have to do. You can think of your own. And if you have trouble thinking of something to do, please let me know, because I can kind of talk through some ideas with you and help you. The next group is the reformers. The reformers are a group of people who simply, they're about mid-19th century. We will start learning about them a little bit later on, probably about February or March. These folks looked at society and said, hey, I see something wrong. These are your abolitionists. These Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, but it's also people like Dorothea Dix who looked at the mentally ill and said, hey, we need to do something for them as a society. So again, there's some suggestions here for you guys. Leadership, if you feel like this is something that you are drawn to, You can organize a small group of people yourself to pick up trash on the Chattahoochee, or organize a yard sale or something like that. We will also be studying about the different leaders in U.S. history, from George Washington to Thomas Jefferson, different people, leaders in the U.S. history that helped shape our country. So what I'm hoping to do here is that you look at their leadership strategies and maybe find something within yourself that says, yeah, that's a quality or trait, a characteristic I have within myself. The last group is political change. This was really relevant last semester because it was during the fall semester. We were electing a new governor. I had lots of students going out and canvassing for Stacey Abrams and Governor Kemp. So if you feel like, this is something, there's a political organization that you're interested in and you want to do something for them, it doesn't necessarily have to be leaving your house and doing something. I encourage you to go and find things maybe that you can do online. Maybe you want to design a poster or a flyer for a political organization to hand out, something like that. There are lots of different organizations that you can go to. There's also an organization, a website called, let me think, I think it's volunteermatch.org. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this will allow you to maybe put in your interests and find something that you're interested in, okay? Back to the introduction sheet. So your first order of business here is to figure out what group you think you most likely associate with, okay? And then start looking at about 5 different organizations or strategies or something that you can do, and they don't have to be in stone because we're just getting started with this, that you think that you can maybe volunteer or do to fill up your 5 hours, okay? Just list them right here, all right? And that's all you have to do for this sheet, okay? And then put it in the Dropbox in Cougar View. And then I'll have kind of an idea of where you're going. And if you're way off base here, which nobody ever has been, but you never know. If you're way off, I can reach out to you and say, we need to talk about this, okay? Or tell me a little bit more about what you're wanting to do, okay? So I can kind of help you. I'm not leaving you just laying out, okay, by yourself. Brianna and Zork, do you guys have any questions yet? If you do, you can just type them in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask your question. So the first order of business for you guys is to get a group. You figure out a group and turn in your intro sheet. Okay, that's the first thing you do. Once you have decided on a group, then what you can do is come right up here to communications and go down to groups. Click there. And you can see civic responsibility always fills up first because people really don't know or understand what's going on. Brianna, do you have a question? What can I help you with?
I picked the reformers group.
Great.
And I was just wondering if I'm on the right path.
Okay.
So I found the Ronald McDonald House, which helps like the less fortunate. Feeding the Valley, which they package boxes to send out to less fortunate families. Yeah. I also found like House of Heroes, which helps like veterans who don't have much. So is that on the right path for reformers? I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the right.
Yes. Yes, you are absolutely on the right path, Brianna. Some of these groups are going to overlap. That would be what the organizations you mentioned would be appropriate for reformers, but they would also be appropriate for civic responsibility. Maybe something you do within those organizations would be appropriate maybe for leadership. So don't be afraid. So what essentially you're going to do, Brianna, later on after you've done your service, is you're going to look at the different reformers and say, yeah, I get why why we studied the reformers in history, because they looked at society and saw a problem, and then I decided on the Ronald McDonald House because I see that there's a need there. So you're trying to make that connection there. So, but yes, you're absolutely on the right track there. Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Because I felt like it overlapped with civic responsibility, and I didn't know if I clicked the wrong group. So no. I just wanted to make sure.
I don't think you clicked the wrong group. I think you're perfectly fine. And like I said, I'm going to go through these intro sheets and just make sure if I had a problem with anybody, you know, I'd reach out to them. I'm not going to let you go through the semester and do something and then come up at the very end and go, oh, so sad, too bad for you, you did it wrong. I would never do that. But your second order of business is to get into a group, okay? And it's a self-enroll kind of thing, okay? It's real easy to do this. If you have trouble doing this, let me know. I can help you, okay? So once you add yourself to a group, okay, then what you can do is come up here to communications and go down to discussions, and your discussion will appear, okay, and it looks a little, my view looks a little bit different because I'm in as an instructor, but you can click on this service learning group discussion, group discussion, I see that's wrong, and only the people in your group will be in there, okay, and so the reason I do that is because you're all reformers or you're all leaders, and so talk to each other about what you're doing. This is just because you're in a group doesn't mean you're going to have to work with somebody else. This is very much an individual project. You are only responsible for you. You're not responsible for anybody else. All your grades are only going to come from you. But I want you to be with like-minded people and have conversations about what other people are doing because they may give you ideas. Okay, so any questions so far other than that? I'm turning because somebody did email me a question because I asked that if people couldn't come to the live session that they email their question. So do either one of you have any other questions or? Just yes or no? Okay.
I do. So we just have to pick one of the organizations or which we decide to do and just do 5 hours at one, or do we split it up? Are we just picking one?
Yes. Okay, so the reason I asked for you to list 5 different organizations is because after you choose your group, I just want you to start thinking about the different places where you might do your service learning. Like you mentioned, Ronald McDonald House, Feed the Valley. And as we go through the semester, you're going to narrow that down to just one, okay? Because the total hours that you need to do this project is 5 hours, okay? Or at least your service learning on this project is only 5 hours, okay? So if I did it 5 hours for each, that would be, no, I'm not gonna make you go to 5 different charities and do 5 hours of community service. No, just choose something. I just cannot say this enough. Choose something that means something to you, because that's when you're gonna get the most out of it, okay? Don't choose something, if you don't like, you know, being around, like I said, animals, don't go to PAWS or the other one, the ARC place, okay? Okay? So for Sunday night, February 3rd, what you will need to do is turn in this form, okay? Have it filled out, and you're gonna, just like it says here, decide a group, enroll in your group, okay? And name your group here. Choose about 5 organizations that you're thinking about, and you're not tied to these. If you list 5 here and you end up not doing any of them, that's okay too. I just want you to be thinking about something. And just kind of look over the different groups, okay? So that's your first order of business. turn in the form. And to turn in the form, what you do, there's a couple of ways you can do it. I'll show you the quickest way. I have right here, back at the contents, the table of contents, all I did was I clicked on content right here, and I made sure the service learning module is selected. Right here, I have this introduction sheet. All you have to do is click on this link, and it takes you straight to the Dropbox. So once you have filled this out, you save it to your desktop or wherever you save your files, name it, save it, click on this link, and upload it here. If you have trouble doing any of this, please, please, please let me know beforehand. Hopefully you won't, because hopefully you did last week's assignment, excuse me, and uploaded something and that went okay. That's why we did that last week, so you could get practice on how to do an upload. That's the first thing you'll do. You'll enroll yourself in a group, and then you're going to do your group discussion topic. And I've got a few questions here that I want you to answer as part of your discussion. Why did you choose the group? What are 3 of your organizations? And then what do you think your next steps are? Okay, you got your 5 organizations. Do you think you need to look at more organizations, or you start to kind of narrow it down? Okay, and put that in as a posting with your like-minded people. Okay, these other 2 forms, we're not even ready for them yet, because these get filled out once you get ready to do your service. Okay, so I just put them here because this is the module we are going to refer back to. Okay, as we move through the semester, we'll say, okay, now we're getting ready to do the action form, and I'll refer you back to this module. The question that was asked of me, somebody emailed me a question and said, once they do the service, how am I going to know that the service was done? Am I going to require people to get the service to email me and let me know that you did a community service with them? No, don't tell people to email me. I get enough emails, trust me. Don't tell your organization to email me, please don't. These next 2 forms right here, honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've done this project several times, several years, about 4 years, and I've really never had a problem with anybody not doing their service. And I can tell a lot by your action form in your journal as to whether, something actually happened, because a lot of this is explaining what you're doing and whatnot. So I just kind of go on the trust. I trust that you're going to actually go to an organization and you're actually going to do some kind of service, and that you'll be honest about it. I mean, that's the truth. So I don't need anybody to email me to say, yes, they did it, okay? Okay, that was the only question I had from somebody. So is there anything I can answer to you guys, or is there anything else about the class in itself that you would like for me to answer? I know that we don't have, I'm sorry, Brianna, go ahead, hon.
When we submit the introduction sheet, are we still doing it as an assignment? So this would be assignment 2?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be, now if you notice, your service learning project is worth about 30% of your grade, okay? So this sheet is part of that 30%, okay? So if you got a 0 on this sheet, then that's going to take away that from that 30% of your final grade a little bit there, yeah. As we move through and do this project, one of the things that I ask for Once you have completed your service, this is after you've done your services, I want this service learning journal. And I'm glad you brought this up because I just thought about it. You're going to journal about your experience. You're going to tell me about your experience and what you learned from it. And one of the things that I encourage students to do is to show their experience with pictures. I've had students do this service learning journal in a PowerPoint. So each one of these is a PowerPoint slide, and they add pictures or video of them doing their actual service, like picking up trash off the Chattahoochee or walking the dogs. And I mean, students love this project. They really get into it. And they also appreciate that they don't have to do a week's worth of assignments. I try not to give students too much busy work, but I have to give them something to kind of measure if they're learning history or not. But students really, I always have an overwhelmingly positive feedback from students with this project. Every now and then I'll get a student that says, you know, this was stupid, I wish I didn't have to do it, but, you know, those are very rare, very rare. So as you're doing your experience, think about, you know, if you can take pictures. Now, some of the medical facilities don't allow you to take pictures, and that's perfectly fine. It's not required, but you don't have to maybe take pictures of yourself doing something, but you can add pictures of other that relate to your project. So, but this is like after you do your project. That's way down the line. And like I said, this is not something that, you know, you have to stress about getting it done next week. You have until April 14th. We will be revisiting this as the semester goes on. This isn't the last time you're going to hear about it. Any other questions? Zoric, do you have any questions?
Yes. So I know you said that you have the 5 ideas and then you're narrowing it down. Is it possible to do more than one, or I guess do your service at more than one organization?
Yeah, you know, if you, that's perfectly fine with me, because I want this to be something that's meaningful to you. So if the service ends up being at 2 different places, I'm fine with that. This is about you getting something out of helping and giving back to the community. So I'm going to give you lots of leeway. I'm going to give you lots of freedom to do what you want to do. But I do have to, you know, have some things documented, you know, because I can't really think if anybody's ever done anything that, you know, was like, for example, nobody's ever done this, but I always give this as the example. You can't tell me that you want to, hey, Trevor, you can't tell me that you want to improve the economy and go shopping at Macy's, okay? No, that's not, you're missing the point here. And I'll tell you something else. And so a student did ask this one time. You can't just say, well, can I just make a donation to the Ronald McDonald House? Can I throw them $20, you know, and say, okay, I did something. They would appreciate your monetary donation, but no, that's kind of, you're also missing the point, you know. I really do want you to take 5 hours out of your life, okay, and spend it doing something for somebody else, giving back to the community, mainly because as citizens of the United States, that is our civic duty. We have a that's not a duty, it's more of a responsibility. We have a responsibility to give back. And I think that you will really, you'll get more out of it than you give. Trust me. Okay. Thank you. That's a great question. I'm pretty much open for you guys doing anything. That's the reason why we do this form. So I can take a look and see kind of where you're going. If I think you're going off the rails and like, you know, like I said before, and Trevor, you weren't here to hear this, but I'm not going to let you get down to April 14th and say, oh, by the way, you didn't do it right. I won't do that. You'll know as we go along, okay? if I'm okay with it. Who else has a question? Or is there anything else I can answer? I'm working on grading your work from last week. I have not gotten that done yet. I'm going to have a very busy weekend because I'll have these things to do, plus that, plus get your assignments for next week. I will say that, let me go right back here to my table of contents. Some people have asked me about the textbook. I've got the course textbook in 2 places. We're using an online text because I hate that they make students spend so much money on textbooks. It hasn't been that long ago that I was a student. Actually, I'm still a student. I shouldn't say that. I'm in the doctorate program, so and I know what it costs. So we're going to use an online text. It's free. All you need is internet access to access it. And so we'll use this in anything I provide for you. So I was going to use a textbook. I had a textbook last semester, and the bookstore sold it for, I don't know, like $60 or $80, but then I found it on Amazon for like $16. So I was posting the Amazon link in my courses, and they said, no, you can't do that because we have to have students, we have to post the CSU bookstore. And I said, but they're selling it for so much more than what students can actually, get it for on Amazon. And they said, well, too bad, they have to buy, you have to tell them, you have to post the CSU bookstore on your website. And I said, well, then I'll just use a free book. Because I don't think that's right. That's me. So anyway, this is it. It's called OpenStax. It's a good book. I mean, this is a survey class. We're not getting, we're just hitting the highlights on U.S. history. We're not getting too down and dirty with it. But, it's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this book at all. It's great. So that's what you use. So I've got it there, okay? And all I did was I went to content, and that lists my table of contents. And one is the text. The other is, let's see, it is in the course syllabus. Course syllabus is required text right there. So there's 2 ways you can get to it. Who else has a question? Anybody? Trevor, do you have a question? I've been recording this meeting. I will certainly post the recording link. Hopefully, I got knocked out. Not literally, but I got knocked out of Zoom, so I hope it continued to record. Hope so. Anybody else have a question about anything? I think I will try to do these sessions every Wednesday. I'll post an announcement when I'm going to do it, okay? Because sometimes in an online class, week to week, you get a little bit confused. But generally, you can expect this class to follow the same kind of format as the first module, where you had something that you had to read, and then we did some activities like the discussion right there and the quiz. And what else? There was the assignment, the getting to know assignment, favorite time period in history, all that good stuff. So essentially, that's kind of what we're going to do. You'll have a module here each week, and there'll be something for you to read and an activity or 2 for you to do. I really try not to give busy work. I mean, I'm busy too. I don't want to, if I give it to you, then I got to grade it. So I try to make it at least quality assignments. So, I'm only measuring whether you're learning history or not. Just, I don't know, have I just taken up a lot of your time? So. Well, that is all I can think about. Unless you guys have a question for me, I guess I'm done. I hope you guys have a good time with this project. I really do. I think you will, but I hope I got some wheels spinning. So if you don't have anything for me, just know that I appreciate you coming. And if you don't have any questions, then you're free to go. Hi. Thanks for coming, y'all. Trevor, thank you for being here. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, hey, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
Hello? Oh, sorry,
Yes.
I'm actually on my break at lunch at work right now, so I just managed to scoot in here.
No worries, no worries. Do you have any questions for me?
Just like a basic one. You may have already answered it earlier in the video, but
That's okay.
just like with the community service organizations, like bigger organizations, I heard you say something about the Ronald McDonald House.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So what, like just volunteering and helping them with whatever they need done, or?
Right. So the first thing you'll do is you'll decide which group you feel like you most closely relate to in the different groups. Here's this Service Learning Project introduction sheet. I'll show you where to get that in just a minute. So just take a look at these different groups. There are 5 of them. And I talk about here why you might choose this group, and then the different course objective it might link back to, the motivation for why you might want to be in this group, and then just some ideas. These are not, things that you have to do if you're in this group. These are just sort of some ideas. And so, yes, Brianna talked about the Ronald McDonald House. She decided that reformers was something that she kind of related to. And the next order of business after you decide your group, you should enroll in your chosen group. I'm sure you have to do that in just a minute. But you name your group here, and then just select about 5 different organizations that you think you might want to volunteer at. And she was the one that said, well, as a reformer, I've looked at the Ronald McDonald House, Feed the Valley, and she named a few others. And so I just want you to list those. These are just showing me that, you've come up with a group and you're kind of just getting the wheels turning on these different organizations that might fit, might be something that you want to volunteer with. You're not locked into these at all. It's just kind of, this sheet right here kind of helps me know if you're on the right track with this. Right. And if I see something on here that doesn't make sense or I'm kind of concerned about, I'll reach out to you and say, maybe we need to talk about this. So after you decide on your group and you put this here and you put in your 5 organizations, then you can turn this sheet into you can submit it as an assignment.
Okay.
And then when you get ready to do a group, you want to enroll in a group, you're just going to come up here to communications and you're going to select groups. And this looks a little bit different than what you'll see, but you'll select one of these groups. Well, it won't be civic responsibility because that's full. But these other groups, a lot of these groups overlap. Civic responsibility is full, but essentially all of these is civic responsibility. So culture club is, just working with different types of people, either people from a different ethnic background or a different religion. So there's something you could do there. There's the reformers leadership. Maybe you're thinking, that you want to take a leadership role, gather up a small group of folks and go pick up trash on the Chattahoochee or something like that. Okay, that's the group that you could do there. Political change. Maybe there's some kind of political organization that you are interested in. You want to reach out to them, see if you can do something with them. So once you have your group, then you can come up here and you've enrolled in that, you can come up here and click on discussions. And that very first discussion right there, your discussion group will come up. And so you will answer these questions right here. And if you choose like leadership, you'll only be with the students who are talking about, who are also in the leadership group. Your group, this is not a group project, but we will do assignments that you'll talk to the different people in your group.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Makes a lot more sense now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think I'm gonna maybe try to start doing these on Wednesdays about this time, and I'll record them if you can't come. I had somebody email me a question, and so that would be open. I can always answer emailed questions or whatnot. So,
Right. Okay.
is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, ma'am. That was all I had.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming. I understand, this is a pop in, pop out. Okay. There's no shame in, not being here right at 4:00. No problem at all. But I appreciate you coming. And if you don't have anything else for me, then I'd say you're free to go.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Let's see. Stop the sharing. Now I'm going to